Well, hello, my Jedi friends. I've just had a little experiment that's gone disastrously wrong. And I thought I'd try YouTube's special streamer. And I thought it would be very easy just to press record, but it hasn't panned out that way. So here I am on the backup plan. I've gone on StreamYard. I've got on StreamYard. So luckily there was a backup plan so I can do this live stream. So there's probably people waiting on the on the other one that I did, thinking, when are you going to start, Adam? Well, unfortunately, my Jedi friends, I've messed this one up. I've messed it up because I'm not tech literate. It didn't quite work out the way that I planned it on my YouTube scheduled live stream, which I should probably cancel. I should probably cancel it. There's probably people on there now waiting to get in, thinking, Adam, that's not it. Didn't start it. What's going on? Well, here is my philosophy on these things. If you don't give it a go, you never find out. And you can get paralysis by analysis and start thinking, wow, I don't know how to sort that out. But I shall know next time. I shall know next time that I need to be prepared. But there's actually quite a lot of preparation I need to do to use YouTube's own in-filmed set of technology to actually do this. And part of me is actually thinking I should go back on the live thing, which I will do now. I better cancel it. I better cancel the live stream. I better cancel it. How do I cancel it? I don't even know how, folks. This is a complete disaster. Can't even cancel the live stream that I'm meant to be running. It's a disaster. But then you have to learn these things the hard way. Sometimes you just got to learn these things the hard way. So I'm just going to riff with it. Just going to go with this new technology. So, well, this isn't new technology. This is StreamYard, which I used for my previous feeds. But apparently, I was told that YouTube does their own. They do their own. It's very easy to use. Well, I can say this for certain, my Jedi friends. It's not quite as easy as I thought it was. In fact, it's definitely not as easy as I thought it was. So I'm just going to have to learn the lesson. I will have to learn that lesson. Just been on it. Apparently, there's a couple of people waiting to get on the other screen. So to you people, to my Jedi friends that are waiting for me to start the other stream, I'm really sorry. You're probably going to find this at some random thing, thinking never did it, never did a live stream. He didn't go live. That bloke, he said it was coming, and it just never started. I was waiting in the waiting room, never started. So, well, since I'm here now and no one's on because nobody realized I was using this software, and this, quite frankly, is the backup plan. So I'm just going to go with it and tell you. I had a couple of friends over this weekend, and they're my Irish friends, and we had a good laugh, but it took me a couple of days to recover off the back of it because, like me, they're lunatics. We had a very interesting time, very interesting day out. Had a soiree around sunny St Albans. I showed them my hometown, and we had very interesting times back then. And certain things came up, folks. You know, fun is a big factor. And we should always make time for fun in our life because it's huge. It's huge. Fun is massive. Fun is massive. Fun is huge. We should all have more fun in our life. We should, because it's highly recommended. Although, fun with the Irish, there was a bit too much alcohol involved, if I'm completely honest, my Jedi friends. Yes, my liver is definitely, well, it certainly was paying the price for a couple of days afterwards. It's paying the price, and sometimes that is the price you have to pay. We have to go with the flow. We have to do what we have to do. So I'm just going to flow with this. I actually think that it will probably be good for you all if I take you through a set of energetic processes, because it certainly helped me recover. And I can tell you that energy techniques are great for recovery. They're great for recovery, my Jedi friends. You can recover with the set of tools that you can learn through this. So allow me to take you through the basics of energy work, which I do I've worked out that it's probably a good idea to do on most of the live streams. So, as ever, slow down your breathing, because your breathing controls your mood. So you're not forcing your breathing slowed down. You're just going to ease it slow by thinking about slowing down your breathing. Now you're going to create a ball of light at the center of the earth and imagine a light cord connected to the base of your spine. Connect that to the base of your spine, my Jedi friends. Do that now. And because energy follows thought, you're connected, whether you can visualize it or not, which is good. This is good. So as you're slowing down your breathing, you're connected to your energy cord. You are now going to imagine a ball of light above your head and connect from above. So as I go off randomly, you can energize just by listening to me. Like magic, my Jedi friends. That's how it works. It's a bit like magic. Energy follows thought. And this is a thing people don't seem to get. That the hardest thing with energy work is to process the simplicity of it. And so many energy systems, they like to complicate the system so that you feel you've had more value. It couldn't be that easy. It really couldn't. Well, actually, it can be, and quite often is, my Jedi friends. This is how we roll. It's a lot easier to follow simple instructions and be energized. So what does this actually mean? Lindsay is here. Hello, Lindsay. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Finally. So, Lindsay, I was just saying that I was meant to be practicing with the YouTube live application. This was my debut on it of using the YouTube live software, but it didn't turn out that way. It was a disaster. I was about to start. Well, actually, I was here 10 minutes early, and I thought, let's test the software. And as it turns out, that if I use YouTube Live, if I use their thing, I have to download other software and set it all up. So I put myself in a bit of a panic, and it didn't quite go to plan. But we try these things, don't we? And if they work, it's great. And if they don't, well, we'll maybe learn something from it. We will maybe learn something from it. Indeed, as you well know, we've learned plenty from this process moving forward. So just for the record, Lindsay, what we've said is let's do some energy work while you're listening. Just use this opportunity to energize. So ground yourself, work on your breathing, connect with above. You know the drill. You know the drill. And as we slow down our breathing, we are energizing our body and mind. Energize our body and mind. That's where it's at, my Jedi friends. That's good. So Lindsay, she's following the process. She is following the process, which is all I can ask. We energize as we go. Now, this is also something, we've talked about this, Lindsay. Now, for people watching, Lindsay is part of my Jedi Training Academy. And we've watched the process that we've all gone through over the last few months. And one of the things that we talk about that I think is really worth emphasizing again and again and again is that you can do energy work most of the time. Energy work isn't just sitting in a quiet Zen space and putting on the chilled music, getting in the zone and then doing energy work. We're always doing energy work. Every thought that we have is energy. Everything that we think is energy. Everything that we do is energy. And that the game here is realizing that energy works in all aspects of our lives. In every single aspect of our life, we are working with energy. How we choose to show up, how we choose to walk down the street, how we choose to even do things like watching the TV and even listening. Listening is an energizing thing. And setting our energy space so that we can be better listeners as well. That's also a thing, that we can improve our listening experience by working with energy as well. And for people that are sensitive to energy, and Lindsay definitely knows this, that sometimes, especially for people that are sensitive to energy, you can feel drained. You can easily feel drained if you don't know how to set your energy space while you're listening. Especially if people are dumping loads of stuff on you, telling you how bad their day is, telling you what a disaster they've had. That it's possible to set your energy space so that you don't feel drained when that happens. And this is what energy is about. We can choose how we do everything. We can reset our energy parameters when we do anything. We can evolve in any aspect of what we're doing. We can learn from every aspect of what we're doing. And if we're feeling drained, we learn to measure that as we go along. And if you catch yourself feeling drained, we can take measures to put energy systems in place through our thoughts so you don't feel as drained, or you feel energized as you're listening. And it really is that simple. And it often comes down to breathing. Breathing is the catalyst to all of it. If ever you catch yourself feeling a little bit off or feeling your energy drain, start by slowing down your breathing. Because your breathing controls your mood. And Lindsay will have heard me say that hundreds of times during these last few months, because the basics is where it's at. Working with energy is not about feeling good all the time. It really isn't. Sometimes it's just about managing to catch yourself. Oh, my energy's off. My energy's slightly off. It's wavering at the moment. And if you catch yourself with your energy wavering, you can just reset. Working with energy is like having a factory reset button. It's a set of tools that if you find yourself off, if you find your thoughts drifting, if you find your energy low, if you find yourself in a situation that you don't like, if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable being in a certain space, energy exercises and the stuff that I teach you is a set of tools that you can relay to press a factory reset in any of those situations. And you can just learn to catch your energy, realize it wasn't 100% at that moment, and to get back on track. I've got Grizzly Gurr back on. Now, if you had another sleepless night, Grizzly, I see that you are back with us. Fair play to you. Fair play for joining us. Now, I hope you've had some sleep on this particular occasion, because the last time that Grizzly Gurr joined me, I'd been up all night. Been up all night over in the States. So hopefully your energy is in a slightly better place today, Grizzly, because I know that it's still reasonably early. It's reasonably early for Grizzly. Now, Grizzly has told me I did have another bad one. Oh, that's a bit rough. Well, you're here for a reason. We're going to show you some energy techniques. I'll tell you what I'll do for you, Grizzly. I'll take you through a process that you can start to regulate your energy now. Now, I did this at the beginning of the video, but obviously you weren't here. So for your benefit, we'll do it. The basics. So Grizzly has just told me I had tacos for breakfast. I love tacos. Tacos are great. Fair play. Fair play, Grizzly. You've had tacos, so you're stacking the deck in your favor. I love a few tacos. The old Mexican breakfast, you can't beat that. So here is a set of techniques. Here's a technique you can use to energize yourself now. So first thing you do, slow down your breathing. Slow down your breathing. Slow down your breathing. Lindsay's back on. I'm on a calorie deficit diet. I don't. I don't. See, Grizzly, you're making Lindsay jealous now that you're having tacos and she's on a diet. She isn't allowed to have any tacos. There's no tacos. Well, luckily enough for the two of you, energy works whether you've got tacos or not. Obviously, it helps if you've got some tacos. That'd be great. Tacos are nice. It's good, especially Mexican. Here's a little bit of curious trivia that I don't think I've shared on any of my videos or streams. Is when I was 16, between the ages of 16 and 18, I used to work in a Mexican restaurant as a grill chef. I started off as a waiter and then I moved into a grill chef. So I used to be cooking all the burritos and all the rice dishes and tacos and nachos and all sorts of stuff off the grill. There you go. There's a flashback, a blast from my past. In a little restaurant called Texarkana. We were mixing it up. We had to wear bandanas around the kitchen and out the front. Wow, that is a flashback. That is a flashback. Anyway, get back on track, Adam. Let's completely get back on track. So, Grizzly's just piped in. I cried all night though. Well, I guess you would need some tacos if that happened. I'm sorry to hear that, Grizzly. Sounds like you've had a rough night. Sounds like a rough one. So, well, I will get back to the point. I'll get back on point. We'll do an energy exercise to get you back on track. And Lindsay's back in. Mexican is one of my fave yummies. Fab Adams sounds fun. It was fun, but I'm actually making myself hungry now. All this talk about Mexican food. I'm not sure I've done myself any favors. Haven't done you any either, Lindsay. Here we are. And Grizzly's saying very. She cried all night. I said it was rough. She said it was very rough. So Grizzly has had a rough night. She's had a Mexican breakfast, which gives her a slight advantage to the rest of us. But she's been up all night. She's been crying. So this one's for you, Grizzly. We're going to get our energy back on track. This is how we reset ourselves. So factory reset, energy factory reset. Now, this is the basics to everything that we do with energy. You start by slowing down your breathing. And then you imagine a ball of light at the center of the earth and a cord of light connected to the base of your spine. And slow down your breathing. And now you're going to imagine a ball of light above your head, shining white light through you. So as you slow down your breathing, you're connected above and below. So now we're energizing. So Grizzly, 3 years in isolation, that sounds rough, really rough. And Lindsay's saying, sorry to hear that, Grizzly, big energy hugs. So Lindsay's been learning all sorts of energy techniques over the last few months, and we can send hugs energetically. We can do this stuff because energy follows thoughts. So we're both sending you a bit of energy right now, Grizzly. Hopefully that will help you. Hopefully that will help you because it sounds like you've had a rough night. But just by doing these basics, we sort of connect. So let's have a look. So Grizzly's saying I've had 2 cervical spinal fusions. Now that sounds painful. It sounds properly painful. So yeah, that's no fun at all. No fun. Well, Grizzly, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully we can give you some energy. We can take the edge off things for you here. But more importantly, give you a set of tools that can help you to help yourself beyond this call. And slowing down your breathing is one of them, and connecting above and below energetically is another. So we can energize. Now, this is not necessarily going to be the answer to everything. This is just a set of tools that can stack the deck in your favor. It's interesting today because I've just had a conversation with somebody that is a holistic healer that deals with back pain, funnily enough. And I was talking about what I did working with energy. And he said something interesting that so many people say to me when we talk about energy. And that is, yes, I tried Reiki once, but it didn't work for me. Or I didn't really get it. I just slept a bit, but it didn't really feel anything. Now, this is so common. It's so common with people using energy. It's a bit like people that use yoga, for example. Go to one yoga class and say it didn't work for me, or it was all right, it was a bit stretchy, it was a bit painful, but it didn't really do much. Well, yoga works because you use it consistently. It's a bit like health supplements or dietary advice. Now, it only works sustainably if you use it sustainably. And energy work is exactly the same concept. It's something that if you use it over time, you'll have measurable benefits. But if you just use it on a one-off, you probably won't have any idea whether it did anything or not. This is just the way that the world rolls. It's the way that we roll, folks. Energy is about consistency. And if you don't use it consistently, it won't work. And not only that, as Lindsay knows very, very well, sometimes you have to get worse before you get better using with energy. Because you've got to have that wake-up call. You need that wake-up call to jolt you out of the situation that you're in. And if you're stuck in a situation, if you're stuck in a situation in life that you haven't got yourself out of, it's not quite uncomfortable enough. It is uncomfortable, but it's not uncomfortable enough to take massive action to resolve it. If that's your zone that you're stuck in, you find yourself in, then working with energy will quite frequently mix up the pot and stir things up and create craziness in your life so that you have to deal with it. And most people don't like that, don't like having to deal with your serious, heavy duty shit. No, I don't want to deal with it. Yes, it's painful, but I don't want all of the extra pain in dealing with it right now. Can we have a timeout? Can we have a timeout? Timeout. Can we freeze the energy work? I've changed my mind. I'm not ready for this radical shift. Not ready for the pain. Speaking of which, let's see, Grizzly's here. It's my adrenaline. How do I fix that? Well, Grizzly, firstly, let's just say one thing. Anything that I teach here is a supplement. It is not a replacement to anything else that you get. But one thing that energy teaches us is that our mind is very powerful in a healing mechanism in our life. And if you're feeling adrenaline, or you're feeling hyper, or however way that works, then slowing down your breathing is a great place to start. But not only that, imagining calm coming through your body. That white light that we connected to above, just imagine calm coming through and slowing down your breathing as you do it. Slowing down your breathing. So Lindsay said, absolutely, learned so much, went through the worst paths clearing. Nervous system regulation, breathing helps me. So I'm sure that Lindsay won't mind me telling you, Grizzly, that she's had a really tough time as well lately. And she's been working with me with energy on this. And this is part of the course. Working with energy is not all sweetness and light and feeling energized and waking up and feeling, that's it, I feel wonderful today. I should get her on here to talk about her experience working with energy. I think she was probably ready to shoot me a week or so ago. And this is par for the course. It's par for the course. It has to sometimes stir the pot up. You sometimes have to stir the pot up because one thing that I found, especially being an empath myself and working with other empaths, is, you have to give yourself permission sometimes to get angry, because anger can be really transformative. Anger is a transformative thing, because what it does is just say enough is enough. Enough is enough on certain behaviors, on certain things, on certain dealing with things, on apologizing for stuff you shouldn't really be apologizing for. It's a mysterious mix when we start playing with energy, and it affects everyone differently. Everyone's path is different, folks. I mean, if you follow my channel, you'll know I probably swear a lot. That's not everybody's way. And that's just me at the end of the road saying, right, enough is enough, enough is enough. Everyone has their own enough is enough moment, and it manifests in different ways for them. But it's all about the game here. The game here is to have really clear boundaries. Now, let me explain boundaries, because some people just don't get it. Let's be really clear. It's ironic. I recorded a video on this earlier today that will be released later this week. But when we say boundaries, what do we mean? Now, this is a really clear boundary. If you do X, I will do Y. If you shout, I will walk out. If you ever hit me, the relationship is over. Now, the boundary is, first you have to put it in place, but you have to be prepared to follow through. And it's an absolute, there's no negotiation. Boundary is a boundary, and that's how it works. So Lindsay said, I love you really, Adam. Hey, Lindsay, no one was happier than me to watch you lose the plot. She didn't really lose the plot, folks. She just got slightly peeved with me. And in Lindsay's world, that's a massive, massive development. Just letting it loose, allowing herself to be. And she's very authentic and got massive breakthrough. But this is part of the course. We have to respect our emotions. So Grizzly is back. It scares me, but my sister had adrenal carcinoma and died at 54. Well, that would scare the hell out of anyone, Grizzly, quite frankly, with cancer. You know, and the only thing that we can do there is to look after ourselves better. That's the thing. But yeah, I completely get it. And I'm not sure there's anything I can say that's going to really help you, except the fact I looked after people with cancer. And a lot of it is a message, I feel. Cancer is a message to look after ourselves better, to be a better friend to ourselves, for sure. So New Yoda has arrived. I have another Jedi friend on the call, one of my regulars. Welcome back, New Yoda. Thank you. Om to the Omni. Thank you, New Yoda. So it's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. It's always good fun to have my Jedi friends. Should dive on these live streams, especially this impromptu one where the technology went wrong and I had to use the backup plan. So Grizzly says, is that a history issue? So let's talk about something, Grizzly, because you've brought up something really interesting here that I don't believe I've ever talked about on any of my videos again. One of the scariest things that we have in our life, if somebody close to us died at a certain age, it is very feasible that you'll have massive anxiety when you come up to that age. You know, one of my friends, his dad died when he was 52. And as he was hitting 51, was going through all these mad anxiety attacks. Absolutely mad. Now, the worst part, here's the paradox of this. We can worry ourselves to ill health. So this is the paradox. That kind of stuff, it really does. It really does influence us. And it's difficult. It's very difficult not to think about it. In fact, that was another video that I did earlier. It's impossible to tell someone, don't think about this. You tell someone, don't think about your cancer. What are you thinking about straight away? You know, you want to tell people what to think about. So I would say we'll focus on something more positive. We'll actually go back to that. But I see, we have got Licked, another one of my Jedi friends. I've got the crew here today. Thank you all for turning up. Hello, Licked. Good to have you back. My Jedi friends are all here. We are all energizing each other. So let's actually do something. Let's do something. Since you're all here, let's amplify the energy. So whether you believe this or not, it doesn't matter, because doing it, it will work. I know it will work. So all of you ground yourself right now. Work on your breathing and allow yourself into the healing circle that we will create on this video. And if anyone is watching this video, you can join in this retrospectively, because this space is now created for you. So we have another Jedi friend here. We've got Glenn. Glenn, thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining in. I feel like I need to run into the dark to see the light. Glenn, you've nailed it. Most light workers do. Anyone healer, empathic, absolutely. You've got to go to the dark to wake up to the light. Absolutely. I would say that is a very sound statement. Certainly I had to. And all of my most, the ones that shine the brightest, my friends that have the biggest skill set, have had to go to dark places. in order to get their boundaries, their confidence, and to shine their light without worrying about the judgment of others. It's a big part of the journey here. It really is a big part of the journey. So Grizzly's just jumped back on. Well, I'm 68, so I've surpassed that, and focused always on a healthy body. Well done, Grizzly. I mean, fair play to you. So that's good. That part's good. But we can always up our mood and our energy, and that's what we're going to do today. So New Yoda has jumped on. I just want to thank everybody for just being so active in the chat. This is great. This is great, my Jedi friends. Meditation is medication. New Yoda with some Yoda-like wisdom there. Absolutely. We create our own well-being. We can create. Meditation is a medication. In fact, ironically, New Yoda, when I went to a silent Buddhist meditation retreat, they explained how breath work is scientific. That some people say that Buddhism isn't a religion, it's a philosophy. They actually said, no, it's beyond a philosophy, it's a science. That the science of slowing down your breathing to control your mood is scientific if you look into the research around it. So it's very, very wise, very wise. Licht is back. The planet is not going anywhere, folks. It absolutely isn't. It is revolving a little bit, my Jedi friends, but it's certainly not going anywhere. We've got Candy as well. Candy, thanks for joining us. Hello to you, my Jedi friend. The Jedi friends are back. And Candy said, it's so weird that whenever I want to upload my songs or remixes on YouTube, you are live. Hey, well, Candy, if you're uploading songs onto YouTube, by all means, post a gratuitous link here. I'll give you a plug. We'll listen to some of your music. Maybe that's what we need to be meditating to, or medicating to, as New Yoda has told us. We have the medication through the meditation here, my Jedi friends, and we create this healing circle. So we're all grounded. We're all sending light. We are all sending light and healing to the people in the healing circle right now. And this stuff really works. It really does. I'll tell you a story about this. Years and years ago, when he was alive, once upon a time, my dad, way before he died, many, many years before he died, he had a stroke. And it was a really serious, heavy-duty stroke. And the doctors brought me in and said he's got less than a 50-50 chance of survival. I said, don't you worry. I said, he's got a much better chance than that. They said, well, not according to us. But little did they know, my Jedi friends, they didn't know things like energy and healing circles. So I got all of my my light worker friends, my energy friends, and a few friends I was on Facebook at the time before I had my account hacked. And I created a healing circle. And we did this massive energy meditation. And when I say meditation, you don't have to do anything. You're doing it now. If you're shining light into our healing circle, you're doing it now. You don't have to do any ohms or start chanting or anything like this. You're all right. You're all right, folks. You don't need to start chanting or doing the ohms. We've created the healing circle now, and I did that for a couple of days. He completely pulled through. Now, could say that was luck. Could say it was luck, but I know, my Jedi friends, I know, because I have worked with the energy. I've seen the combined force of when we all connect and throw it into a healing circle. So let's place all of us in there right now. We're all in the healing circle. We will all energize each other in this moment. In this moment, we're going to be energized. So Grizzly's back. Oh my God, that's awesome. It is awesome, Grizzly. It's like anything else. When all else has not worked and when the medical profession has no answer, that's when people become suddenly open-minded to this. I'll tell you a little story, shall I? Since I have my Jedi friends here, this is one of my favorite stories of working with energy. So once upon a time when I came out of the health service, just after I'd come out of the health service and I was a bit unfiltered, I had no business training at all. I thought it'd be nice to get on a local radio station and talk about the energy stuff that I do. talk about all this energy work, all of this wonderful world that I just discovered, all these energy tools that I had. And I phoned up the local station, and I phoned them about 7 or 8 times, and no one ever answered. And then one day, it was almost a throwaway. It was a couple of weeks later. I was walking back from playing football, and it just dawned on me, well, I've got nothing to lose. Let's just phone them. Let's just phone them now, see if anyone's there. And suddenly someone picked up the phone. I was really excited. And it was a chap who's called Energy. And he used to run a weekly show in the station called Spiritual Matters. And I got chatting to him, and he became my mate. He invited me on the local show. I used to talk about some of the energy stuff that I did. I used to tell him about my experiences in the health service. And he used to come along to a couple of my workshops that I used to run. Really nice guy. And a couple of years down the line, he came on, and he phoned me up, and he said, Adam, I need your help. They've told me that my dad is about to die, and I want you to come and coach him. I was like, I'm not a miracle worker. And I said, look, I'll come down and I'll do some energy work on him, but you have to realize that it might be you that I have to coach. He might be ready to die, in which case it'll be you that I coach to let him go. And so he agreed to that. So I went down there. Now, bear in mind, there's in hospital, they have what's called a multidisciplinary team, which is a team between about 15 and 20 people, maybe sometimes 30. They're all health and medical experts, and they all decide what's the best care for each patient, and they go around each patient. Now, they had all made a unilateral decision that this chap's dad was going to die. There was nothing that any of them could do about it. They couldn't do anything, my Jedi friends. They'd given up on him. They'd written him off. Said that's it. In fairness, he hadn't eaten for well over a week. And he hadn't had anything to drink for about 5 days. So clinically, he should have been dead, really, anyway. And I went in, I did a bit of energy work with him on the first day. And at the end of the first session, I'd worked with him for about an hour. I sat him up. I could see he wanted a drink or something, and somebody had a 500 milliliter bottle of Lucozade on the bed, and he drank the lot. So I gave it to him, and of course I had medical training, so I filled in the chart, the fluid balance chart, with 500 mils on. I can only imagine that all of the health staff would have seen that chart and thought it was a load of rubbish. They wouldn't have made any sense of it because he hadn't drank for so long. Day 2, I came in, I did a bit of energy with him. And at the end of that, he was able to sit up, and he was communicative, and he'd even a bit of movement in the guy. He even managed to stand up, turn around, get out of bed, and just stand up. Not do much, but he could stand up and get back. There was 2 sessions working with him. 3rd session, I went in the 3rd day. I did a bit of energy work with him here. And after that, about an hour later, after I went home, like, Energy phoned me up. He said, what did you do with my dad? He said, he's just got up. He's just walked into the canteen, and he's just had a 2-course meal. Nobody can believe it. 3 days working with this guy, just doing energy work. And on day 4, I went in, and I was waiting outside the door. They were obviously changing him when I got there. And I knocked on the door, and I was just waiting to go in the room. And I could see one of the nurses saw me. She was like, oh my God. She ran down. She says, you're the guy that's been working with Mr. Brown. And I said, yes, I have. She said, who the hell are you? And I only had... I'd redone a business card for a joke. Now, my serious business card used to say Adam Shaw, the Heart Guy speaker and author. But I'd had a new one done. I'd had this new card done, and it had Adam Shaw, the Heart Guy, lunatic comedian on it. And I handed this to the nurse. And to this day, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall of them in the multidisciplinary meeting saying that they actually, the guy that they said was going to die, they now had to do a discharge plan for him and send him home. And a week later, they were sending him home. This guy lived for 2 years beyond that. And I got one of the best testimonials ever from Energy afterwards, saying thank you for the extra years that my dad got from working with you. So there you go, my Jedi friends. There is a few things. So let's have a look. So Grizzly said, oh my God, that's awesome. Maybe I think I put that one up already, didn't I? Licked. People always in a hurry. They can't sit with themselves. Absolutely licked. Plenty of them around. Lindsay, what a confirmation. Absolutely, it was. Grizzly Girl, what exactly did you do? The woo-woo arts, Grizzly. I am Adam Shaw, Energy Master. There's people in the NHS still asking exactly what I did. I did energy work. I did a little bit of stuff, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, Grizzly. I can't give away it all. In fact, quite honestly, I don't know. When I work with energy, I'm a channel. I don't know what's coming through me. I don't know how it's going to affect people. Some people have to go down. Some people bounce up. Some people defy death. Some people might actually die. Now, this is the thing that people don't realize. Sometimes I'm there to create a safe space for people to pass on. And that's what I used to do in my role as a nurse. So you never know how it's going to affect people. You never do. You can never understand how people are going to get affected with energy, which is why I never make any promises when I work with it. Sometimes, like the story I've just told you, it's miraculous, seemingly miraculous. And other times I work, people say it didn't work, didn't affect me, didn't work. It's nothing. It's rubbish. And, you know, as the person that uses energy, I have to be used for both sides. So in just the same way, I don't get affected if people tell me it doesn't work. I don't get affected when people say, oh, that's amazing. It wasn't me. I'm the channel. I am here to hold the space, to do the techniques. Some people are ready to heal and for miracles, and some people are ready to die. And everything in between, my Jedi friends, which is why energy work is so mysterious. And the more I work with it, the more fascinating it becomes. It's just that simple. I can't really explain it beyond that. It's very difficult to explain. So Glenna said, language seems so silly, like explaining polarities. If I explain someone the response is smart ass, turns out they're right. Yeah, you're right there. You are absolutely right there. That is the game, Glenn. There's so many people like that. So yes, there's a lot of people. I've heard everything on this journey. I've heard I'm woo-woo, I'm out there, I'm complete lunatic. Yeah, we get that quite a lot. The woo-woo workers. I mean, I've had the piss taken out of me for this stuff more than most, I can tell you that. But I've also had the most incredible healing results, you know, which validates the me being on this journey. It just makes it all worthwhile. So you just never know. You just get so much stuff in between. It's just as important when you work with energy to not let your ego get in the way when the miracles happen, as it is to shrug off all of the doubters, because you're going to get everybody. You open up your world to absolute lunacy when you go down this path. That's my experience of it. It really is. So Lick's here. Look, Lick is a member for 1 month. Thank you, Lick. Thank you for being a member. You are a Jedi Master. You are one of my Jedis, you star. Thank you. It feels like I can't connect easily with anyone anymore. A lot of people feel this way, Lick. It's definitely not just you. People that are sensitive to energy, people that are waking up, people that are starting to see the world for what it is, people that are seeing the lunacy of the world that we live in. I mean, especially that will be very pronounced during things like lockdown. You know, who didn't feel a little bit isolated, that isn't slightly awake during that? I mean, it's very dysfunctional, the world at the moment. And it's completely okay to feel that way. I felt very isolated on this journey. And ironically enough, it was the isolation that really made me up my game on platforms like here, for example, and to get out of my comfort zone and start doing live streams so I can have these conversations. And then discover that I'm not alone, that there's other people that feel this way, and that me talking about this stuff helps others through doing it. So that is just the way of the world. That is how we work. And people that are sensitive to energy are going to feel that isolation for sure. For sure. And Grizzly says, there's too many knocks. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Actually, really scary statistic that 5% of the world's population have no empathy. They're narcissists or psychopaths. I was surprised, actually. And they're probably all in the top jobs. They're the leaders. They are the leaders of countries. They are the top executives, the CEOs, the psychopaths, the narcissists, sociopaths. Yes, there's a lot of them, and they tend to occupy very senior roles, which makes it all the more difficult for people that actually care. For the empaths that are seeing all of this madness, thinking, who let this lunatic in? And the thing is, that lunatic's in because they can make the tough decisions, because they don't lose any sleep by redundancies and things like that, by making tough business decisions. And let's be very clear, there's a big difference between a psychopath, which is someone that will make the decision for the greater good. Not always. I mean, there's some very vicious psychopaths as well. But they're the ones that can go in as CEOs and will save the business by making hundreds of people redundant, and they'll feel nothing about it. An empath would struggle to make a decision like that, and probably the business would be more likely to go under with somebody that was high empathy in that situation. But the narcissist is the person that's just out for themselves. It's not really for the greater good, it's just for their good. And they get all of their energy from ruining lives and knowing that you're caught in their web. So there you go. That is the way of it. And Grizzly says, well, I'm fighting off 5 or 6 right now. It's so common here, Grizzly, for empaths to just get boss level narcissists. They keep coming in your life until you've got boundaries that are so clear. It's not just that your boundaries are clear, you learn to identify narcissism early and cut it out before it starts. I mean, I'll bring that to life. I mean, I'd a couple of narcissists show up in my world lately, and straight away I could see this is a narcissist. I could see this is a narcissist. My alertness to what narcissism was a narcissist. Of course, a couple of tests later, I was certain that they were narcissists, and I just stopped talking to them. Just deleted their number, cut them out of my life. Job done. Job done. But it's only because we're back to clear boundaries now, which is the game for most empaths. Have very, very clear boundaries. New Yoda's back. I have a narc neighbor. Painful lessons. It always is, New Yoda. Narcissists are if life is a game, for an empath, dealing with a narcissist is the boss level at the end. You get to the end of the level, and then you need to, usually the monster or whatever it is that, takes extra firepower to get past. That's your narcissist for someone with high empathy. That's the way that they rock. It's the way that they rock, folks. These narcissists are everywhere. They are everywhere, my Jedi friends. And it really is the game. The boss level empath that can see the narcissist. If you learn to identify narcissism and to have boundaries that are so clear around it, they stop becoming an issue. Doesn't mean they won't trigger you. Doesn't mean that your life won't be difficult occasionally. But it does mean that you'll develop a thicker skin because you've been bruised and battered in the past. You don't want to get caught. And the other side of this is it doesn't mean that you're going to become a cynical arsehole, because you'll still know an empath when you're with them, and you'll still be your default setting, nice person self. But there'll be a new part of you that learns to see a narcissist for what they are. Well, this is my reality. I can't say that it will be yours. But when you're burned by boss level narcissists as you work your way up the scale from giving everybody too much leeway, you will eventually reach the point where you get to see them really, really early in the game. Really early in the game. And just deal with them. Just, what is it? Swipe right? Is that what happens on the on the apps, on the dating apps? That's a narcissist. Swipe right. Like, no, get rid. No, clear boundaries. No more of your nonsense. Number deleted. Delete. Delete them, my Jedi friends. Grizzly's back. One narc wanted me to meet for lunch, and I told him it would be the second to the last person I'd meet for lunch. That was a sister. Well, I can say from personal experience, Grizzly, I've got a couple of narcissists in my family and I don't talk to either of them. They're just gone. And some of them I actually spend time in their proximity. I just completely ignore. I don't even talk to them now. That's how I deal with it. And this way, all of the other empaths in the family that have been making excuses for these narcissists, I want them to feel the discomfort from having to deal with me as well. It's like, okay, if you're not going to deal with them, then, well, I'm not going to deal with the situation. You can deal with my silence. I'm not talking to them. I'm not interacting with them. I don't want anything to do with them. And it's just really that clear. Now, is this a good thing? I think it is for an empath, because a narcissist is never going to change. The game for a narcissist is to keep you in their web as long as possible and to torture you. And the behavior never changes. And I've learned that. I've woken up to that within my family now, and I'm very, very clear. I've not even seen my mother for about 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, something like that now, because she can't help herself. And I told her the last time, you do it this time, one more time, we're done. And of course, she had to test that boundary, and now she realizes just how clear it was. Now, is that a good thing? Is a bad thing? As a healer, should I try? Well, you know, I spent almost 50 years trying to find a halfway house there, and there is no halfway house with a narcissist. Every concession that I used to give her, she used to see as, she used to believe that me making a concession meant that she was right in the first place. So if I took a step to meet her halfway, she took a step back and say, told you so. Told you I was right. You're backing down because you knew you were wrong. For fuck's sake. Fuck's sake, folks. Fuck's sake. Everyone has to reach the fuck you zone as far as narcissists is concerned. And for me, I've zero tolerance for it now. But that's because I'm at a certain age and having a certain threshold of dealing with narcissism in all areas of my life. That the boundaries are now very, very clear. Very, very clear indeed, my Jedi friends. So, Grizzly's back. My daughter is a narc. I had to let go just this year. It's difficult when it's a daughter, Grizzly. You know, I've got a nephew. I don't have kids myself, so nephew's as close as I get on that front. And we spend time in the same house sometimes. I just don't talk to him. I want him to feel uncomfortable around me, because he clearly didn't while I was trying to be nice or trying to find a halfway house. Never worked. Just never works. The more you concede, the more they'll take the piss. And especially if it's in your family, you've got to draw your lines. Got to draw the battle lines, folks. Got to draw those lines. Clear boundaries. And when I talk about boundaries, that's what I'm talking about. You know, if you take the piss one more time, that's it. 3 years later, it's still it. If she's still alive in 3 years' time, it will still be it. Boundaries, folks. Boundaries. It's the only way a narcissist will know. And what they'll do is find another victim, because that's the way that they're wired. They have no empathy. You have to realize this. A narcissist, a psychopath, they have no empathy. As an empath, that's your superpower weapon. It's also your weakness with a narcissist, because you think that they can be reasoned with. They absolutely can't. They can't be reasoned with. There's no reason with the narcissists, my Jedi friends. And part of the Jedi journey is waking up to that. Because when you do and you see it for what it is, your boundaries get clear and you develop the skill set that's missing, which is the thick skin. The ability to be able to go out and shine your light without worrying what anyone else is going to think about it. And that is a big part of the journey. And speaking of which, my Jedi friends, I just really want to thank you all for showing up today and being so interactive with the comments. Thank you all of my Jedi friends, for joining this chat. I'm going to sign off in a few minutes, only because I very foolishly booked a call in, or someone else booked a call in, and I forgot to confirm it till after I knew I scheduled this live stream. So I do have to jump off in a few minutes. But if there's any final questions or comments, I do have a few minutes. I do have a few minutes, my Jedi friends, if you want to throw them in. So Tammy's turned up. Tammy's turned up. Hello, Tammy. Thank you for joining the stream. Hello, Adam. What should I do when other family members make excuses for the narcissist? That's a great question, Tammy. So in my case, I've got some very good people in my family that were making excuses for narcissists at family gatherings. What I do is I just ignore the narcissist now. And everyone else is all comfortable. Why won't you talk to him? Oh, I apologize to me. I don't give a fuck anymore. You can't control what the rest of the family do, but you can control your reaction to the narcissist, and you can just cut them off. And even if you're in the same room and the same proximity, you do not have to speak to them. Let them know your contempt by saying nothing. Sometimes nothing is the best thing to say, especially to a narcissist. That's how I do it. I hope that helps you. Licht is back in. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Licht. Thank you, my Jedi friend. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, as ever, for jumping on the stream. And new Yoda. Thanks for the live, Adam, and fellow Jedi. Well, thank you for your wisdom, new Yoda. Thank you for your little quotes and for joining us. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you turning up. They know I know, says Grizzly. Well, that's all you can do, my Jedi friend. Let them know. You let them know your boundaries are here and nobody moves them. They are immovable to everybody. And narcissists are not welcome. They are not welcome, my Jedi friends. Swipe right. Swipe right. Wax on. Wax off. Narcissist on. Narcissist off. Do the narcissist off, my Jedi friends. It works. It works. So thank you all for joining me today, my Jedi friends. It's been great fun, especially since you've been so active with the comments. It always makes it a lot more fun when that's the case. So wishing you all a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for joining in, and energize yourself and be aware the healing circle is still ongoing. You can jump in it whenever you want. We've created that space on this stream, and it will recur for as long as this stream is live. So take care, my Jedi friends, energize yourself and be spectacular, because you all are.